Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli, what a place to start our 2026 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Hello everybody, I'm Alexandra Legui and I am here in the pit lane for this incredible start to our season. Misano, what a place to start and what a season it looks set to be. I tell you what, it feels like a real reset this year. We have 18 cars on the grid and a real mix of original TCR World Tour drivers and a lot of new faces. Speaking of which, we have a lot of new features as well, just to spice things up for 2026. We have the introduction of the Joker Lap in Villarreal. We've got our ETS Guest Trophy. They will be on the podium at the end of each race. And yes, so in race 1, the fastest lap in race 1 will gain a spot in race 2, so every lap counts. Not only that, but we have a new team here, my friends. Geely Cyan Racing. So 4 very well-known faces behind the drivers, but brand new car. And it all starts here in Misano, a fast flowing circuit. It's a real favourite of many of the drivers who have raced and won here before, but for many of our OGs, this truly is a brand new circuit that they're going to be trying to find their form. So Hyundai set the benchmark in yesterday's free practice 1 and free practice 2. They are looking mighty quick. Michael Ascona in free practice 1 and Nobby Michelitz in free practice 2. But as we well know, free practice doesn't always give us an awful lot to go by. But they are certainly looking the strongest of the pack so far. You are currently looking at Jan Erlacher. He is the reigning champion. He comes into this round and everyone will be hunting his tail. Can he defend that title? Come with me. Let's go and have a chat to Frederik Valen, because this is one of the biggest stories coming into the 2026 season. He's like, what? Yeah, one of the biggest stories coming into this season is the reappearance of the blue cars, but they're slightly different shape, aren't they, this year? And this is Fred Valen. He is the team boss. So, 4 very well-known drivers behind the wheel. But for us, very unknown cars. What can you tell us?
Well, it's a new brand, Geely. Really happy to introduce a new brand in the TCR family, so looking forward to seeing them on track. Yesterday was the first time competing against the others, so you know as well as I do qualifying. Now we'll see if it's fast or not, so yeah. Looking forward to it.
So what, for this weekend, what would make it a good weekend? I mean, without stating the obvious, but, you know, what's the benchmark for you guys? What's your aim?
The aim is have all cars in the top 10, so we're fighting for points in both races. I think that's a good aim to start with.
I agree.
Yeah.
Is it possible, though?
We will see. We hope so. We believe it. We like the track. I mean, it's a good track, and it seems to fit our car, yeah. So goal is top 10, all cars.
Good. All right, fine. Let's go and see if we can have a chat to Jan, seeing as he's sitting there patiently waiting. Come. Can we squeeze in here? We might be able to. All right, here we go. First qualifying of the season. You are the reigning champ. You're in a brand new car. Feeling confident?
Hello, Alex. Yeah, a new car. First qualifying with the Geely, so we don't really know what to expect. You know, in free practice, there's a lot of people hiding the game, so it's gonna be the first real session with the car. So we're gonna go full push and starting to score points from this session. So it's going to be quite important for us, for the band as well, to do a good first weekend in the worldwide, the highest stage of touring car.
Good. All right. How's the shoulder?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so far not so bad. I don't want to say it's weak because I don't want the others to hit me in T1 and break it again. Right. So it's all good. Solid.
Good. Thank you, Jan. Have a great one. Yeah, so poor Jan, in March, he had an accident and he broke his collarbone. It's not a good time to do it, is it? However, thankfully, he's back on track. He looks on fine form. Right, look at this. 18 cars. And like I said, we've got a real mix of... We've got world champions, we've got national champions. We've got our original drivers. Many of you guys, certainly watching this, will know the form of our boys. Newbies in the pack, then. What can I tell you? So, Ruben Volt, he won here last year. As did Teddy Claret. Gabriele Cavini, this will be his home race. He is racing in one of these Hyundais. Ooh, big return. Jean-Carl Vernet. Be nice to see if we could get down and have a chat to him. I'm not sure how much longer we've got. Raphael Fournier, he's the youngest on the grid. I think he's 19. Ted Bjork is now the oldest. That's a little concerning, especially as Ted is younger than I am. Esteban, before you hop in, is there time? Of course there's time.
It's like a deja vu.
Oh, yes, but you're, thankfully, you know, you're not on the toilet and you're not, you know, anyway, right, that's a, anyway, we'll explain that another time. Right, qualifying, speak.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's been a while. Macau last year, so yeah, great scenario here in Misano, great weather. We are competitive, so let's see how she behaves.
Have you raced here before?
No, never raced. I tested many years ago with Thiago Monteiro, remember 2019?
Yeah.
But then never raced. Well, actually, when I will tell you how old I am by saying that I drove this circuit, but the other way around.
Oh, wow.
Okay, 2001, 2002.
Makes you about 60 or something, doesn't it? 2 minutes. All right, go on. You go.
Thank you.
Have a good one. That's Esteban Guerrieri. Bit of a late entry. They are a one-car goat racing makeup. Let's have a little bit of a wander. Okay, so some newbies here. We've got Julien Brichet, 2019 TCR Europe winner. Raphael Fournier, he is the youngest on the grid. As I mentioned, Ramiro Zago. This is his second ever TCR event. His second ever. That is bonkers. And he's here in the TCR World Tour, about to make his start in qualifying at Misano World Circuit. That is crackers. So, like I said earlier, a lot of our drivers have never raced here. We have some other additions to this season. We're going to Paul Ricard after Valencia, and we've got another new track on the grid, on the calendar, and that is Chengdu, where we head to later on. So, got a lot of things to spice things up. Victor Anderson, what can I tell you about him? Bear with me, seeing as lots of these guys are pretty new. The bell has gone off. That means the boys are going to head out. Jean-Carl Vernet and Aurélien Comte. Now, in my opinion, they're going to be the dark horses. Keep an eye on them. It's qualifying time. Let's go.
Thank you very much indeed, Alex Le Gouy. Down there on pit lane, doing a great job as always. Paul Jeffrey up here in the commentary box and looking forward to kicking off our 2026 season here at, as Alex mentioned, the absolutely wonderful Misano Circuit Marco Simoncelli. A great place to start our 2026 campaign, and a little bit later than originally planned, but we are here and we are ready to go for qualification ahead of the first race of the season that'll take place a little bit later on today. That'll be 16:05 local time or 14:05 UTC. So make sure you put a little note in the diary for that one. But before we go into the racing action, it's our first opportunity to get a real feel for the form book of this 2026 field. We have had 2 practice sessions, and it's fair to say they have gone the way of the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team. When qualifying comes, it's an entirely different prospect indeed. Air temperature then of 17 degrees, 19 degrees for the track, and a slightly uncomfortable 77% humidity. It's only very, very early in the morning, 8:30 a.m, but already it's incredibly warm here at Misano. As the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour field, I can hear in my ears are heading out on the track to start the first 20-minute portion of this qualifying. Let's take a quick look then at the entry list. As Alex mentioned, several new names that will be unfamiliar to the World Tour fans. Victor Anderson, of course, highly competitive in TCR Europe and leading the TCR Spain category. We've got several returning drivers. We've got champions from different series as well. Jenson Brickley in the 246 for ALM Motorsports. He's the reigning TCR Europe champion, former champion as well in the United Kingdom. It's going to be fascinating to see what Jenson can do. Fresh off the back of the Interlagos weekend in TCR South America. It's going to be very, very interesting to keep our eye on 246, in particular because of ALM Motorsports. You'll see the two ALM cars, or three ALM cars, nose to tail there. Big team in TCR Touring Cars, big team in TCR Europe as well. And they have got a very, very strong lineup indeed. Jenson Brickley behind the wheel, Ruben Volt, and then for this weekend, Frenchman Teddy Claret as well. Really, really strong lineup. Will the Honda have enough in the bag, though, to compete against the competition? BRC Hyundai, as mentioned, looking very, very strong in free practice. And, of course, the great unknown of Geely Cyan Racing. There we go. First time we see those on our television screens out on track. It is the same colour, broadly the same livery and the same drivers on board. But the car is a very different proposition indeed, much larger than we see in TCR Touring Cars usually. It's definitely got a very, very aggressive stance. Having had a look around the car all weekend long, very nicely put together as well. It's going to be fascinating to see what Geely Cyan Racing can do with this new machine. Will they be competitive straight out of the box? Will there be some qualification games? Frederick Valens said he hopes both cars in the top 10. Sorry, all four cars in the top 10 at the end of the racing action. I've got a feeling they're going to be aiming a little higher than that one once the stopwatch starts. So, as per usual then, several cars heading down pit lane just to do a quick tyre swap. A few drivers electing to stay out of the racetrack. There is Raphael Fournier, as mentioned by Alex Legui down there on the pit lane. The young Frenchman, youngest driver in the field very recently, having just turned 20 years of age. Becoming a young man's game now, isn't it, this one? In the world of touring cars, Ted Bjork, as we say, 45, is one of the older drivers in the field now, believe it or not. Ted, for my money at least, has been a very strong driver over these last couple of seasons. Seems to get a little bit better, doesn't he, Ted Bjork? Each year that passes, the 111 has got to be a driver to keep an eye on over the course of this season. Qualifications, the big unknown, of course. We'll find out really where the true form book lies come the conclusion of this session. But keep your eye out on these Geely cars. They may be new, but expect them to be very quick indeed. Now we see the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team. Two cars with the latest edition of the Hyundai Elantra N EV TCR. That's Mikael Afkon and Noah Miklas, of course. And then a third car for this weekend for young Gabriele Corvini. However, Gabriele is racing a slightly older spec that he competes with in TCR Europe. So it's a little bit lighter, not quite as up to date. Be interesting to see if Corvini can turn that into a good qualifying result as Ted Bjork is about to break the timing beam for the first competitive lap of the day. And said competitive lap comes across as a 41.187, immediately beaten with a 40.742 from Jan Erliché. To give you a little bit of reference, the qualifying lap record here is a 39.385, scored by Nicholas Taylor in TCR Italy in 2025. So we're a little bit away from the ultimate pace. Compared to free practice, looking very, very quick indeed. It's going to be interesting to see what the right to reply is for Norbert Miklas and the BRC squad. Can they put in some times that will be competitive? I feel they will do. It seems like a very, very well-sorted Hyundai Elantra N EV TCR at this moment in time. But practice is one thing, qualifying is an entirely different thing indeed. 5 cars then, with times on the board, 4 of which are the Geely Cyan Racing machines. Raphael Fournier there with a 1:42.090 as well. Currently 1.3 seconds away from the ultimate pace. Still very much in the conversation. Anybody wondering why Ruben Volt's driving in Max Hart's livery? Fear not, that is Max's car that Ruben is in this weekend. Bit of free airtime there for Max Hart. I'm sure him and his sponsors will be absolutely delighted about this one. But Ruben Volt, he's a great driver. If you're unfamiliar with this young man, the Estonian's been a bit of a mainstay at the ALM Motorsport squad over the course of the last few years. Very much a star of the TCR Europe Championship, multiple race winner in TCR. Hasn't taken the victories just yet in the World Tour, but he's going to be, if the car allows him, a very, very competitive proposition indeed. Speaking of competitive, Ted Bjork improves again, but he is just usurped by Santiago Urrutia, a 140.844, a tenth of a second away from the ultimate pacer Santi. A new number as well for Urrutia. Of course, 112 is usually the number that we see on the Uruguayan driver. Said it's not really been bringing him the look that he was hoping for, so he's changed it up now. Santi will be in 181. The 81, of course, being the number that he took to the US 2000 Championship all those years ago. He's hoping that brings him a little bit more good fortune over the course of the season to come. 13 minutes then left in Q1 for our drivers to set their time. It's currently Jan Erlichet, who's the fastest of all from Santiago Urrutia. Ted Bjork, third quickest, 0.2 of a second adrift. Marchinhois, 0.6 away in fourth position, yet to set a representative time. But look at this one. Now it's time for the Hyundai boys. Norbert Michaelis, looking very quick in sector 1, 2 and 3. This could be the first time that we get to see the pace of the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team. Mikel Afkona goes quickest of all. Very, very competitive then. Cross the timing beam and right on cue. Norby, fastest driver. Look at that one. Oh, 5.5 tenths of a second is the advantage. 140.197 is the time. That is very, very competitive from Norby indeed. Mikel Afkona crosses the line to go second quickest, 1.5 in arrears of his Hungarian teammate. So, we suspected it would be benefit for the Hyundai squad. It's looking that way, although the JSB competition version, as driven by Raphael Fournier, is either projecting a smokescreen because he thinks it looks good, or there's a mechanical issue on that yellow machine. That's a shame for Raphael Fournier, 141.622, not representative of the pace of that car just yet. And it does look like they're in a little bit of strife. By the way, while we were looking at that one, Gabriele Corvini, welcome to the party, young man. He sets the third quickest time, 0.4 just over, away from team leader Norby. But a very, very competitive time indeed for the Italian driver. We suspected Corvini would be quick on home soil. And it's very much proven to be the case as we look at Esteban Gurrieri now. First time that we've seen the Argentinian driver in the 2026 campaign out on track. The 186, the GOAT racing machine. As mentioned, Gurrieri has been rather competitive over the course of free practice. One car team, though, is a bit disadvantaged compared to the slightly larger outfits. The Argentinian driver, very much the Neely man, it feels, in TCR. Always there or thereabouts. Not quite had the opportunity to take the ultimate prize. Could 2026 be his season? It's going to be a big ask for the small goat racing outfit. But I'm sure there's Esteban Gurrieri behind the wheel. They've already got one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. Very, very fast driver is Esteban. Excellent sectors 1 and 2. A little bit slower in sector 3, personal best, but not quite as quick as the Hyundai boys. Let's have a look then. Esteban Gurrieri comes across the line. What will be his effort on the timing boards? Second position, very good. Final sector for Gurrieri. The gap between himself and Norbert Michaelis, just over 1/10 of a second. That's a little bit of a turn up for the books. 140.313. Let's take a quick look then at a replay. This is Julian Brichet. Ooh, lots of opposite lock required there. Track limits, of course, for Julian. Lap time will be exceeded, but good bit of car control there from our former TCR Europe champion. He's been racing in TCR Europe as well, of course, over the course of the last couple of years. Great to see Julian and the JSB squad here in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Of course, Julian spends a lot of time underneath the car as well, does a lot of mechanic work as well as driving. He's very much heavily involved in the operation of the squad and is doing an absolutely superb job so far. Right then, 9 minutes, 42 seconds on the clock so far. It is Norbert Miklis from Esteban Gurrieri and Mikel Azcona, top three drivers in this Q1 session. Gabriele Corvini, Ruben Volt and Jan Erlechet make up the top six. Santiago Rutia, Aurelian Kopf, Ted Bjork and the returning Jean-Carl Venet are our top 10 drivers. And look at this, right on cue. Here is JK in the 169, and anybody that's got any kind of history in the world of TCR and the world of watching TCR will know Jean-Carl Venet is a very exciting driver indeed, but it has been no less than 4 years since the Frenchman sat behind the wheel of a front-wheel drive TCR touring car, and that was for the ADAC 24 hours at the Nürburgring. A lot of cobwebs to blow away. And Jan Erlechet, he seems to be blowing the cobwebs away rather nicely, doesn't he? Look at that one. Fastest overall sectors 1 and 2 to 2.5 tenths of a second, 3.3 tenths of a second in sector 2. This is looking like a mighty lap from our reigning champion Jan Erlechet in the brand new Geely Cyan racing machine. Can he do anything about Norbert Miklis at the head of the pack? Right then, let's have a look. Erlechet comes to the line. Will he have done enough? It looks very much like it. Crosses the line, no. The final sector not strong at all. Lost a lot of time there. Obviously a mistake or an issue of some kind for Jan Erlechet. That is only good enough for 4th position. Ted Bjork now down there in 9th. Scandinavian driver. The 111. One of the big names to look for over the course of this season. Can he unleash some pace? Yes, he can. Look at that one, the timing screen. 2 tenths, 2 tenths, 2.5 tenths in sector 3. Final sector then. This is where it fell down for Jan Erlechet. Can Ted Bjork hold it all together through that final corner? Keep the car within track limits. Otherwise, this lap and the next one will be deleted. Across the line we go. 9th position for Ted Bjork. 3rd place at the flag. That's another very weak final sector for the Geely Cyan racing machine, isn't it? Just like Jan Erlechet before. Ted Bjork, 3rd place though. That's a good position to find yourself in Q1. You need to get into the top 12, of course, to move through in a Q2. And there we go, Santiago Urrutia, just on your screen, crosses the line. 2nd quickest time for the Uruguayan driver. And look at the gaps at the top of the field. 300ths of a second between our fastest driver, Norbert Miklis, currently in pit lane, and Santiago Urrutia, who has just set that time. He'll be heading back in the 181. Here is Ruben Volt, some fresh boots, some fresh Kumho slick tyres on that ALM machine. As Marcin Hua now comes through the final corner. 12th quickest for the Chinese at this moment in time. He's been quick in the first 3 sectors. Where is this? Going to put the 155. Breaks the timing beam. Good enough for 6th position. Fabulous time there for Ma. Just over, 1.5 tenths of a second. Covering our top 6 drivers. Welcome back, World Tour. Fantastic, fantastic stuff. As we now pick up Gabriele Corvini. This is the slightly older, as mentioned, generation of the Hyundai Elantra N. This is not the EV variant that we saw very briefly last season, and will now be run by the BRC squad for the remainder of the World Tour. So Corvini in his TCR Europe car, he'll be needing it next weekend at Spa-Francorchamps. But what can he do here at Misano? We pick him up then at the penultimate corner. Keep the car within the confines of the racetrack. Gabriele, not a strong point of his during the free practice sessions, and both of those look very much on the edge of what is acceptable. In fact, there we go. Lap deleted for track limits. Once again, if Gabriele got paid €1 for every track limit deletion he had, he would be a very wealthy man indeed over the course of this weekend. You've got to be very cautious. Indeed, it's a difficult track, is Misano at the best of times. And have a look at this one. We're following Julian Brichet out using our drone camera. I love that. I really do love a drone shot. And that is a great way to see an absolutely stunning venue. If you've not been to Misano before, just take a look at that one. The track we all know, but look at the surrounding area. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful part of the world, and a fabulous way for us to kickstart our 2026 campaign here in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. It might be a little bit more difficult to overtake on track than is ideal, but our drivers have all got very sharp elbows indeed. I don't think we're going to have any problems whatsoever, but we'll look at the race in the future. Qualifying is our main concern at this moment in time, as we've just seen Teddy Claret off shot jump up into 12th quickest position. Really bizarre to see Teddy in anything other than his own family-run Claret Sport team. He's got a big opportunity here at ALM Motorsports for the 2026 campaign. Jenson Brickley, we had a look there. Competitive at the start. Nightmare final sector for the British driver. Wonderful onboard shots. Here we go. Our TCR Europe 2025 champion. We're right on board with him then on this wonderful technical challenging Misano World Circuit. You've got to monster the curbs to be quick around here, but you're a little bit too aggressive, and all of a sudden you can find yourself without a lap time as Gabriele Corvini now completes a clean lap, and that one is good enough for 8th position as things stand in this Q1 session with 3 minutes 45 seconds on the clock. And he's still Norbert Michaelis in pit lane. He knows he has done enough to get through to Q2, as do the Geely Cyan Racing Squad. There are all 4 of the preface TCR cars, brand new to TCR competition. First time anywhere we've seen these in competitive action. And so far, so good. Job done for the squad. All 4 cars in the top 10 for now. Ruben Volt, we take a look at here in the 27. Ruben currently in 11th position, but looking good in sectors 1 and 2. Let's have a look then. What the Estonian driver can do. You can see the focus in the eyes, even from this wide shot, can't you? On board the cockpit, full concentration required. Damiano Reduzzi moves up into 16th position off your screen as well, just ahead of Raphael Fournier, who's in pit lane following the issues that we saw briefly on track a little bit earlier on. But Ruben Volt has the bit very firmly between the teeth, does he not? Look at that one. Great car control through the penultimate corner. Keeps it just about on the confines of the racing surface. Big commitment into the last turn. Well within track limits. This is looking nice for Ruben Volt. It looked good, but was it fast? That's the big question. Yes, it was. Look at that one. A 1:39.958. Incredible lap time for Ruben Volt. The first time we've dropped into the 39s this weekend. Take notice, everybody, Ruben Volt is here to play. And he looks very competitive indeed. Julien Brichet using all of the racetrack and a little bit more. It's been a wild ride for the Frenchman, hasn't it? Brichet currently in a very, very competitive 10th place, it seems. There's no 15th position, my apologies, at this moment in time. Through the final corner we go. Keep it on the racing surface. Personal fastest sectors 1, 2 and 3. Can Julien Brichet do anything to move up? Yes, he can. 11th quickest. That'll get him into Q2 as things stand for Brichet. Great lap time there for the experienced French driver. Holding on very nicely indeed. This is Jenson Brickley in the 246. Again, onboard shots of the British driver as he's just started to wind up a little bit and prepare to move himself forward. Brickley, 10th quickest at this moment in time. I think the Englishman perhaps will be hoping for a little bit more than that one, especially considering teammate Ruben Volt is currently the quickest driver of all, and a hearty 5.5 tenths of a second quicker than Jenson. Nervous faces then. Geely Cyan Race. It really is. It's remarkable to see just how new everything is at Geely Cyan Racing. It's all brand new. It's all very clean and shiny. It really is an impressive outfit, and I'm sure they've done plenty of testing here at Misano as well. They've really been focusing on sorting that car out. I know Frederick hoped for all 4 in the top 10 for the racers. I sincerely believe that car is going to be much more competitive for that. He's been having a look at Mikel Afkona, so Mikel decided he wants another roll of the dice, as does Norby. Both out there on the racetrack. Norbert Michaelis, 2nd quickest for now. Mikel Afkona up there in 4th position. They don't feel comfortable just yet of making it through to the top 12 and into the qualification 2 that will follow straight after this one. As you can see then, Jenson Brickley, Gabriele Corvini and Ted Bjork all in pit lane. They're not going to get back out again now. The man on the bubble is Aurelien Comte at this moment in time. There we go. That is Aurelien. One of the dark horses, Alex said, and the preview start to the opening of this show. Absolutely agree wholeheartedly. SP competition, incredible last season. Aurelian Comp took 3 race victories in what was predominantly a one-car team for the majority of the season. Very, very impressive indeed. Straight off the back of finishing second in TCR Europe the previous campaign. I've got a returning champion in that squad. 2 drivers, very, very quick indeed. There might be a small team by comparison to the likes of Geely Cyan Racing, but absolutely mark them on your little bingo card as people that would very, very possibly be in the mix for excitement, shall we say, over the course of the rest of this rather long campaign that starts here in Misano and ends all the way on the 19th to the 22nd of November at the legendary, the wonderful, the incredible Macau circuit. So, qualifying times then have hit 0 for Q1. Anybody on a quick lap does have the right to complete their lap. The name of the game is to make it through to the top 12 so you can join the Q2 session. As things stand, Aurelian Compt is the last man that will make it through. Jean-Carl Vernet will be the one that will miss out on the first time of asking, and there we go, Vernet crosses the line. 13th position for car number 169. Not a bad reintroduction. It was a relatively late addition to the squad, was JK. And as mentioned a little bit earlier on, it's been 4 years since he's driven a front-wheel drive TCR touring car. So it is really a case of into the fire this weekend for JK. We know he's class. We know he's a quality driver. 13th position. It's a good time. A 10th of a second away from Aurelian Compt. Not many people can say they can get within a 10th of Aurelian Compt. So a very, very nice return and a very warm welcome back to JK. Wonderful to see him here in the paddock. Right, I'm getting a few lap deletion notices on my screen, but I'm not too concerned about those. They don't seem to be affecting anybody inside our top 12. So, for summary then, Ruben Volt, Norbert Miklis, Santiago Urrutia were the top 3 drivers in Q1. Mikel Azcona, Esteban Guerrieri, Ted Bjork make up the top 6. Martin Hua, Jan Elche, Gabriele Corvini, Jensen Brickley, Julian Brichet and Aurelian Compt make it through into Q2. Before further ado then, let's head down to Alex, who's found somebody on pit lane.
I'm joined here by poor Raphael Fournier, who was out of his car pretty early there. What happened?
Yeah, it was pretty unfortunate. My rear back wheel has just went a little bit in my rear bumper. So I just, on the first curb, so I couldn't do more than 3 laps. So yeah, my session ends here, unfortunately.
How frustrating. In those 3 laps, though, how did the car feel?
The car felt really well. I did my best lap since the beginning, so I thought with a little tire change, I'll be better, and get confidence.
Frustrating, but it'll be a good learning weekend for you. Thanks, Raphael.
Thank you very much, Alex Legui, down there with JSB Competitions, Raphael Fournier. Lovely young guy, very talented young driver. Certainly a prospect to watch, but unfortunately not quite the weekend start that they were hoping for with a technical issue. I'm sure they'll get that one sorted for race 1 a little bit later on this afternoon, but it's going to be a difficult weekend from there, I'm sure, for the French driver. A little bit longer, by the way, this season. 7 minutes is the gap between Q1 and Q2 as our cars prepare. So hopefully we have a bit of time to find a few more people to talk to down on the pit lane. But let's have a quick look then at the results of Q1. As mentioned, Ruben Volt, Norbert Miklis, Santiago Urrutia. Look at that one. Just over 0.3 of a second covering our top 4 drivers. Honda, Hyundai. Didn't see that form book come in, did we? And then Jean-Carl Vernet will be 13th position, Teddy Claret and Victor Anderson. And speaking of JK, Alex has found him. down on pit lane.
A big name, certainly in the world of World Touring Car Land, is Jean-Paul Vernet. This is his first time behind the wheel properly, or certainly competitively, for a little while. I'll let you tell that story. It's a shame to miss out on Q2, but you're still smiling.
Yeah. No, I'm quite happy. I had a lot of fun. It was not an easy session. I had to remember how it works. New track, new tires. To be back at the wheel after 4 years, for sure, it's not easy, especially against all these guys. And I was struggling. Yesterday FP1, FP2 wasn't easy. Today I'm in the same dance as my teammates, so I'm super happy about that. After we were playing for nothing. I still need to understand many things on the car. I did 12 laps before the qualifying, so I think what I did is pretty positive. And I'm super competitive, so no, I'm not happy, and I want to beat the people. But at some point you need to be objective. And I think it's a pretty decent result. So
I said that. I said you were going to be the dark horse. For you to come in and smash out those laps in the way you did, to be as close as you are to Aurelion, who is also always a very consistent dark horse in the championship, is really exciting. How good is it to be behind the wheel and back in the World Touring Car paddock?
No, it's fun. I had a really warm welcome from all the guys, all the drivers. So no, that was super cool. And yeah, it was difficult for me to expect something, because without any preparation, coming here, not knowing anything. But no, super happy. And I see that I'm still performance. That's something important for me. Otherwise, I prefer to stay home if I'm not competitive. But no, I'm super happy about the pace. So let's see in the next race with a little bit more preparation and a better feeling. I have to know the knowledge of the car, the tires and everything. Let's see how the race goes.
Yeah, we look forward to it. Thank you, JK.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Jean-Paul Vernet. Understatement of the season, that one, isn't it? I've done 12 laps before qualifying and got to within a 10th of a Aurelion Comte. Very few people get to within a 10th of a Aurelion Comte, never mind with that lack of seat time behind them. So, Jean-Paul Vernet, absolutely, it'll be fascinating to watch his progression over the course of the 2026 season. He's in for the year, of course. So I only expect that car and that driver combination to get stronger as the season progresses. Q2 then. Well underway now, 10 minutes in this session. This is what's going to decide the top positions for race 1 this afternoon. Jenson Brickley riding on board. He'll be delighted to have made it through to Q2 on his first time in the ALM Motorsports Honda here in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Everybody currently just on an out lap. I expect to come back in again, do a tyre swap before we start seeing competitive times. But it's a lovely camera angle, this one, actually, of Jenson, isn't it? You get to see the driver at work, see what the feet are doing on the pedal box as well, see them hard at work on the steering wheel. It looks so serene, doesn't it, from the outside? But there's a lot of hard work goes on behind the wheel. And look at this one. ALM, all eggs in one basket. Ruben Volt and Jenson Brickley very, very close together on track. One mistake for Ruben will sacrifice both drivers' performance, so you have to be a little bit careful in these sort of situations. But both drivers absolutely on the money, and they're electing to go for a lap straight outside of the box. The 27 leads us away from the 246 of Jenson Brickley. No, but Michaelis is just ahead of Mikel Azcona, Gabriele Corvini, keeping a watching brief in the number 12 behind. And then here comes the armada of Geely Sayan Racing Machines. Ted Bjork, Jan Olashey, and then the new number 181. Seems weird, doesn't it? Santiago Arrutia, the third of the three at this moment in time. 246, current lap deleted, exceeding track limits at T3. That's this man, Jenson Brickley. Get off the bottle, sunshine. That lap's going to be worth nothing to you, I am afraid. That's going to be the story of the day, of course. When we come to the racing action, 3 track limits violations as a warning, 4 is a very serious warning, and 5 is a penalisation. That's going to be very, very difficult for our drivers when we do get into racing action. It's been hard enough in practice and qualification, so that may be a little story that we have to unpick as the racing action unfolds. I'm getting another current lap deleted for the 181, which is Santiago Urrutia, of course. So Santiago also being a naughty boy. T5 was the culprit on this occasion. And anybody who knows this circuit, Misano, you have to be aggressive on the curves. You have to use all of the racing surface as much as possible. And that little balance between what you should use and what you do end up using can lead to lap deletions, as Esteban Guerrieri finds out to his cost as well, the 186, as his current lap deleted, T6 being the culprit on that occasion. So Ruben Volt first over the line to set a time, almost immediately beaten by Norbert Miklis, and Mikel Azcona likes that game and decides to go quickest of all himself. A 1:39.622 for Azcona, 300ths of a second to the good from teammate Norby. Jan Olyshe's time of a 1:40.143 is good enough for third position as things stand. Half a second even away from the pace. But again, these are cycle laps. These are very much just bedding yourself in before things get wild. I expect these lap times to drop very quickly indeed. Aurelien Comte up there in 6th place with a 40.4. Nice opening gambit there from the French driver. Marcin-Qua, we didn't see on screen, set a 40.6. Gabriele Corvini also has an opportunity and is currently 8th quickest, but a 41.4 is most certainly not the pace of Gabriele Corvini. There is Santi. From certain angles, it looks very similar, doesn't it? It's the livery that does it. But when you get up close, it's a very impressive piece of kit, is the Geely Preface TCR. It's great to welcome Geely as a brand into the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Another new car into the category is always very, very welcome indeed, and we're fascinated to see how that progresses over the course of the year ahead. 4 minutes 44 seconds on the clock. Mikel Azcona is the man with the plan. Quickest time of all thus far. It's a 1-2 for the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse team, as Norbert Miklis is currently second quickest. Jan Olyshe leading the charge for Geely Cyan Racing, up there in third position, just ahead of teammate Ted Bjork. Ruben Volt is the point man for ALM Motorsports, the quickest of the Honda drivers, in 5th position. And they're representing Cupra, an SP competition, is Aurelien Comte in 6th. 4 brands in the top 6 in qualifying so far. Very, very healthy indeed. We're taking a look at Ruben Volt in the 27. Pick you up now. You can tell the body language, the posture of the car is oh so aggressive with Ruben Volt behind the wheel. This is a big, big push. Julian Brichet, by the way, off screen, just moves up into 7th position. Great effort from Julian. But let's keep with Ruben Volt for now. Look how hard he's working on the wheel. You can see the white gloves just momentarily atop of the dashboard. This is a quick lap for Ruben Volt, as Marcin-Qua winds up to go once again. Scan the tyres, make sure everything is all above board. Out on track, Jensen Brickley has had another track limit deletion. 2:46, 10th position so far, yet to really set that competitive time. Ruben Volt that we picked up earlier, not quite as impressive on the second sector, half a second down. This is not the lap that the Estonian driver was looking for. 7.5 tenths away from the ultimate pace overall so far is Ruben Volt. He may have an opportunity to improve, but it's not quite to the level they'd be hoping for just yet. Let's have a look what the Estonian can do. 5th position thus far in Q2, 1.3 away in sector 3. This is absolutely not a lap that Ruben Volt was hoping for. God, I do love that. That is some real cool shots. Confirmation then on the timing screen. 2:46 of Jensen Brickley's lap has been deleted, so he stays in 10th position. And now comes those nervous moments, doesn't it? When the clock is ticking down, you're just waiting for the optimal time to release the cars. And you know you've got one more roll of the dice. Speaking of rolling dices, Santiago Urrutia out there on the track is rolling them rather effectively, isn't it? Look at that one. Fastest of all into sector 1. Personal fastest, sector 2, 2.5, well, 2.3 tenths of a second away from the ultimate pace, though. A little bit of traffic in front, that's Esteban Guerrieri. Guerrieri on an outlap, he'll get well and truly out of the way, I'm sure. Seasoned, wily campaigner is the Argentinian driver. He's not going to want to get in the way of Santiago's lap, although I think, actually, the real estate between the two should just about keep the Goat Racing Honda out of harm's way. Santi, a little bit squirrely, locked up, not a good third sector at all. This lap has been ruined, I think, for Santiago Urrutia. Where is he? He hasn't got a time on the board yet, so we can't afford to give it up, although that might have been a little bit outside of track limits. Let's have a look, though, through the final corner for Santiago Urrutia. No time on the board, just like the car ahead. Esteban Gurriere. Santi crosses the line, and hello, that's not a bad way to start your campaign, is it? Third quickest to 1:40, although car number 24, Julian Briche, just had another track limit deletion, and Esteban Gurriere got himself into a world of trouble into T1. He's bailed from that lap, has the Argentinian driver, and I do think actually Gurriere's day may be done in qualifying. I don't think he's going to get back round again for another lap, and judging by the amount of smoke up in the air, I don't think that tyre will be good for another lap, competitively at least. So Esteban Gurriere's campaign not looking healthy at all. 12th position so far, without a time to his name, as Jenson Brickley once again has another lap deletion on this and the following lap, so JB will not be moving up from 11th place. There's Gurriere, so maybe it wasn't a lock-up, maybe it's something a little bit more fundamental than that one. The Goat Racing Honda Civic not looking anywhere near as healthy as he would like. Gurriere well off the racing line. Good stuff there from Esteban as he hobbles that car back to pit lane. Hopefully we'll find out what happened there in the fullness of time, but let's focus on what's happening on the racetrack at this moment in time. 7 seconds left on the clock. Mikel Azcona and Norbert Michelis are your two fastest drivers. They're on their own quick lap now. Ted Bjork's on a flyer as well as we pick up the 111 here. Overall fastest, sector 1 personal, fastest, sector 2, fifth quickest for the 111. This is going to dictate the grid, remember, for race number 1. These are 4 positions, and Ted Bjork not a good third sector at all for the 111. That's going to be a difficult task to improve from there. Jan Olyshe, though, looking entirely more comfortable up there in 4th position. Through the final corner we go, quick in the 1st, 2nd and 3rd sector. Can Olyshe do anything from 4th position as things stand? Ted Bjork moves up into 4th place. Olyshe, does he improve at the line? Yes, he does. Thank you very much. 3rd quickest with a 39.788. The French driver leading the charge for Geely Cyan Racing ahead of teammate Urrutia and Ted Bjork. Marching Soir's day is done. 9th quickest for the Chinese driver. Gabriele Corvini crosses the line right at the death to go 10th fastest. Car number 24, Julian Briche. Another track limit violation, but no problem for Julian. He's up there in 8th position and sitting very pretty indeed. We wondered if it was going to be a BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse benefit. Absolutely, it is at the conclusion of qualification. It is Mikel Azcona that will start from pole position for race number 1. Teammate Norbert Michelis alongside. The gap between the two of them, 34 hundredths of a second. But fear not, dear fans, just 1.5 tenths in arrears is that man, our reigning champion, Jan Olyshe, in 3rd position. It's been a great start, hasn't it, for the Geely Cyan Racing squad. 3rd, 4th, 5th and 9th places in qualifying. Frederick Vallen wanted everybody in the top 10. There you go, Frederick. Done and dusted. Jan Olyshe, Santiago Urrutia, Ted Bjork, 3rd, 4th and 5th places, respectively. Marching Soir, a little bit disappointed, I'm sure. It would be a couple of 3 tenths off of the pace of teammates down there in 9th position, which will be handy, shall we say, come tomorrow afternoon. There we go then. Competitive action over and done with for the first qualification session of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour in 2026. We came into this one wondering where the form book would be. It looks a little bit like it is Advantage Hyundai at this moment in time. But this is the opening round, the first qualification session, and quite frankly, we do play a little bit of games sometimes in these things. It might not necessarily prove to be the case when the racing action kicks off a little bit later on this afternoon. And just to remind you actually about that one once again, if I can. Race number 1 takes place today, 16:05 local time, which is 14:05 UTC. And of course, it'll be on the TCR TV YouTube channel. So put a little notification or whatever it is you need to do to remind you about that one, because Opening races are usually exciting places to be. And I've got a feeling this one is going to be absolutely more of the same of that kind of thing. Don't miss it. It's going to be a wonderful start to the 2026 campaign. Here we see Mikel. His pole position time. Stands at the top of the field, has to go through scrutiny, and of course everything's always provisional until the final results are published. Make sure everything's above board with the car, etc, etc. And then I think Mikel Azcona will be rather delighted about his performance. That's a really, really strong lap from the Spanish driver. It's a big year for Hyundai this year, I think, in the World Tour. Alex mentioned on the pre-show that it feels almost like a bit of a reset, doesn't it, this campaign? And I think I'll have to agree with that statement. We've got a lot of new and exciting elements in the year ahead to look forward to, not least of which is a combination of cars and drivers and teams, of course. That's the obvious stuff on the surface. Other things in the background as well. The World Tour just continues to go from strength to strength year on year. Unfortunately, Esteban Gurrieri doesn't. That's a real shame. Slow car on track was the sign. Well, it's even more so now. Snatch vehicle pulling the 186 Goat Racing Honda Civic Type R FL5. Looking rather sad for itself indeed. And Esteban had a lot of confidence coming into this one. It was a late deal to put it together, but the car's been very nice indeed over the course of the first 2-3 practice sessions. I know that Esteban kind of came into this one hoping for a little bit more. 12th place is going to be a difficult challenge, it has to be said. But there we go. There is there is Mikel. You can see the smiling in the eyes, can't you? He's a great guy, Mikel. Really does love his motor racing. And once again, a very, very competitive performance indeed. That's his, let's have a quick look. Where's pole positions? How many poles has Mikel Azcona had? 1 in 2025 and 1 in 2024. So this is his 3rd pole position. It was Kumho FIA TCR World Tour career. Marcello Lotti, of course, WSC Group President, awards the pole position trophy to Mikel Azcona. The first qualifying of 2026 is in the books, and the man at the head of the pack. It's going to be very hard to look past Mikel Azcona, isn't it, come racing action this afternoon. So far, so good. Job done on the first time of asking for the Spanish driver. And let's have a look then at the qualification results. Mikel Azcona from Norbert Miklis making it a BRC front row of the grid. Jan Olyshe and Santiago Arrutia, and Ted Bjork as well, 3rd, 4th and 5th for Geely Cyan Racing. 6th place for Ruben Volt, just ahead of the impressive Aurelien Comte. Julian Brichet 8th, Marcin Juan 9th, Gabriele Corvini in 10th. Jenson Brickley and Esteban Gurrieri round out your top 12. Let's talk then to our pole sitter, Mikel Azcona.
Oh, Mikel Azcona, I'm so pleased to be here interviewing you yet again for another pole. In fact, your first pole since the Bend last year in Adelaide. But what a way to kick off the 2026 season of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex. No, so happy, to be honest, to start the season on a high, but not only me, the whole team, Norby P2, Gabriele P10, so pole for the reverse grid. I think we managed pretty well the qualifying strategy, performance. I think in winter testing, being able to be here for 2 days, it was helping quite a lot. So we were quite competitive, and yeah, so happy for my team, how they manage working, mechanics, preparing the cars, engineers, the way that we are preparing this 2026 season is amazing. So happy to start the race on pole, but it's a long way. So now we have to finish the job today, and yeah, let's see it.
Now you have a little bit of an idea of the rest of the pack. How easy, hard will it be to convert this pole into a top step?
Obviously, having Norby behind, it's always easier, your teammate, and we will do the best for the team. So, nevertheless, you have to do a good start. Pretty comfortable with the start, so I think after the first corners, if everything goes well, should be fine, no? Having Norby behind. So, we will do our best.
Deploy the Norby. Deploy the Norby. Well done, Mikael.
Well done indeed, Mikael. That was a great qualifying performance. Let's hope his predictions for the race don't come true. We don't like easy. We don't like straightforward. We like controversy and drama. That's what makes great television. And I'm sure, if asked, Norbert Michaelis would be a little bit less enthusiastic about supporting his teammate to the race victory. He'll be very keen to make sure that scoot down to the first corner is advantage the Hungarian driver and not the Spanish driver. But that's a race for a little bit later on. We look forward to that one. Let's have a look then at the overall qualification results ahead of this first race of the day later on today. The top 10, of course. We have already discussed Mikael Afkonen, man of the moment, heads up the pack. Then 13th on down is where the grid forms for the rest of the field. 18 cars, as mentioned in this one. Of course, ETS Guest Trophy as well for our race-by-race entrance. We'll talk about that one a little bit later on. But now it is time for me to say goodbye in qualification, and I will again warmly invite you to come and join us for race number 1, the first race of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Coming up. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.